What's up, traders? I've been through it all. I've made all these mistakes before, and I've heard countless people complain about these mistakes. These are the three most common mistakes that I've heard over the past few years in my trading career. So make sure you listen along, and you might not make the same mistakes in the future. All right, what's up, guys? It is your fearless leader, your cult master, your trading guru, whatever you want to call me, Hunter FX, the most woke trading channel on YouTube, and I run the most woke trading community. So if you want to be part of that community, please join the Discord, please hit that subscribe button, and then we can jump right into it. All right, so jumping right into the first most biggest problem that I've seen other people do, and I still kind of suffer from myself here and there occasionally. Everyone's going to have a little bit of this problem, and it's not following their trading plan or going into something not knowing their trading plan. And I know for myself personally, if I take a trade, I'm always going to have a trading plan going into it. I'm always going to know when I get out. I'm always going to know when I take my profits. But even as a more experienced trader, sometimes you're still going to see some setups that you think are basically your plan, but they don't necessarily exactly line up. So you're going to be kind of blinded. You're going to be kind of tricked by what the market's showing you. And then you're going to enter trades that aren't necessarily the actual plan. For a newer trader, you're more likely to not go in with a plan. You're more likely to just kind of have a feel, kind of an intuition jumping into the trade, and then you're going to act very largely on your emotions, and that's going to be a huge down draw for your account when you actually have to think about things on the fly. So the importance of following a plan in the first place is to know when you can actually get out of a trade, whether it be for the positive or the negative, and actually take your profits or take your loss and cut it off early. And if you don't predefine your exits, then you're really going to be acting in a more emotional state, and you're not going to know exactly when to exit, and you're going to let things run a little bit longer or take things off a little bit too slow and not take the optimal trade exits. In terms of if you're actually a more experienced trader, you know what your plan is, and if you're sometimes just not actually following the plan to the T, the best tip I can give you for that is to write down a checklist maybe, or write into a book and log your trades. Personally, every single time I log each individual trade, I can say, okay, these are the checklists, the parameters I need to get off, and then I at least know, which different parameters I need to see are going to actually make the trades more or less profitable. So this can actually help you in other ways, in that you could get some really good data, and then eventually you could find out that, say, if your requirements to enter were XYZ, and you're now finding that you're actually making just as much money without having Z in there, then you can actually cut Z from the list and then take more trades, and you might be more profitable in the long run that way. So just to reiterate that tip, that's a two-part tip. People not following the plan or not having a plan. Newer traders generally aren't going to have their plan, and they need to pre-allocate their entries and exits before they even take a trade. If you don't pre-allocate these exits, don't take a trade at all. Please don't even be trading if you don't know for sure where you're wrong and where you're right. And the second one is that you should be taking notes of your trades so that you know that you're actually following the plan that you've already set up. The next problem I see countless times, and it basically only applies to newer traders, so if you're a newer trader, please listen up right here. It's over-leveraging. You see these guys on YouTube, and they're flipping their accounts $1,000 to $100,000 in a week, stuff like this. This is all bait. These guys are using a demo account, or they don't care about the money if it is a real account, and they're just flipping the account over and over again until they do hit these massive numbers, and then they're basically bragging to their friends, showing it off, and getting some sort of fame or value to them from doing that. They're not just doing that necessarily for fun, right? It could be a lot of fun, right? But then naturally you watch this and you think, wow, that's really cool, I'm gonna try that. And it might work here and there. You could also not be using stop losses, so it could work more and more often, right? You could still win 90% of the time, but after a while you're gonna hit that big drawdown and you're gonna hit that over leveraged loss, and then you're going to blow your entire account. So my best recommendation for this is I have some other videos on risk management. Please check those out, and I'm basically going to teach you guys how to risk 2% of your account each time. There's also some information in the Discord if you'd like to join that. Just make sure you read the rules of the Discord, and then you'll be able to see it. And then that way, if you're risking only 2% per trade, then you're actually going to be able to trade for the long term and with good longevity, and you're not going to make more emotional responses because you're not actually going to care about the 2% in each individual trade. You know, if you lose 5 trades in a row, you might lose 10%, but in the long term, 10% is not a huge deal. The third and final tip that I see often, and it is something that I don't necessarily suffer from anymore because I do follow my rules very strictly, but it's something that always it begs me to break this rule. I really always want to break this rule, but I know I have enough discipline that I'm not actually ever going to break it, and that is overtrading. So for myself, I'm only trading the New York Open and the London Open now, and the time in between I will leave trades running, but I will not look for trades. I give myself 2 hours in the London Open, and I give myself 3 hours in the New York Open. So for my time, that's midnight to 2 a.m. and then that's 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And those are the only times I'm ever allowed to open trades, but I will leave trades running until the daily close on the New York session if I need to. That basically allows me to not stare at the chart and corrupt my mind with all of these different ideas that the market makers are trying to drill into my head and make me confused. They're trying to confuse you. You know it going into it. That's their goal. They want to confuse you. They want to make you doubt yourself, and they want to make you act emotionally and irresponsibly. That's their ultimate goal, so then you lose. And if you keep looking at these charts, you're going to keep thinking that you see something else. You're going to say, okay, maybe that's a good setup. Or you just lost a trade, so now you're going to revenge trade. You're going to look for other setups. You don't necessarily need to ever be doing that. You essentially only need to look for one trade on London Open and one trade on the New York Open. And if you can follow those rules very strictly, then you're actually going to be looking for basically the best trades, and you're only going to be taking the best trades. And secondly, if you have a loser, you're never going to go into a revenge trade mode. For me, personally, I will allow a couple trades in the New York session because I see more setups in the New York session, but only one in the London Open. Generally, that's what works best for me. And then in a worst case scenario, I will lose a 3% maximum drawdown in a day. If I ever hit 3%, I'm completely done for the day. And that's probably the best tip for you guys, is set a maximum loss for the day. And once you hit it, stop. You don't need to set a maximum win, because you can keep trading that way. So everyone's going to have kind of their preferences of how to not overtrade. You're going to have to figure out what works for you. That's just what works for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification if you want to see me, not necessarily live trading, but explaining the trades I take every single day, what's actually going on, answering some questions, hanging out, making some jokes. I'm a little bit funny sometimes. You guys can watch the streams. It's on just after the New York Open. I like to actually trade the New York Open, so then I'll just delay it a little bit so I'm not too distracted. And then also, please join the Discord. I post there every single day before the stream. I post there talking to the people. Lots of funny guys in there. Lots of stuff. We play in some League of Legends sometimes. It's kind of cool. So come hang out, join the Discord, and join the community. See you guys next time. Peace.
Listen.